Yeah, so since I joined, I started playing college football, as well as a little bit of college tennis, which was nice. I really enjoyed, how welcoming everyone is, having this immediate bond with people just through a sport, and the college is really nice. So once you walk around the college, you of course start recognizing people, bumping into people, and it starts feeling a bit more like a community, which was really lovely. Just on the river camp, quite busy this time of year because a lot of people starting out and then probably dropping out afterwards, which could be me as well. But yeah, same thing there. It's really, really nice getting to know more people and recognizing more faces when you walk around college.
I was at Queen's for my undergraduate, and then I decided to stay on here and do more because I've just fallen in love with the college community. Queen's is a really big college, but it's also really friendly, and that can create such a good community. It's also in a really good location, right in the centre of town, and although it's traditional, I don't think that it's particularly pretentious about those traditions. We can have great formals and go to wine and cheese and have academic events where important alumni speakers come to college. But at the same time, everyone feels very grounded and down to earth around here, which I know is not the same at some other colleges. Queen's MCR is a fantastic social body, and to have the honour of having been president of that group for a year was also fantastic. We've managed to organise so many different things for our members, whether it's wine and cheese nights in Old Hall or jazz nights with cocktails, movie nights. There's a weekly tea time that involves MCR members sitting around after work and having a chat over tea and cake, and that's always really well attended. We also have our MCR parties a few times a term, and all of this is just, there's so many fantastic ways to meet new and interesting people. And everyone I've met in Queen's MCR is so passionate about what they do and so curious about what everyone else does. It's just a great both social and intellectual community.
So given that my PhD is quite ingrained in law, Queen's is known now as one of the good colleges for law students. The War Memorial Library is renowned to have really good and old books on law, and these tend to be really good, especially if you're doing a modern PhD. You tend to require old law books. The general study facilities in Queen's are quite good. Students tend to have many options regarding the study spaces they'd like to study in or the libraries that they'd like to go to. Specifically, there's a main library. However, there are books available throughout the college. You can even find them in the MCR room, which is generally not the case in every college. Most colleges have MCR rooms that tend to be social oriented, but in Queen's, it suits everyone. If you like to read, if you like to study, you can study anywhere in college. But I don't want to sound too biased. Formals are really nice in Queen's as well. What I really like about college life as well is the fact that most things that you would usually require to do in the university sports center would be available at Queen's. So there's a very good gym, there are good sports facilities. But to also add to that, I think there's a very good link between the JCR and the MCR, and also in the MCR's case, the SCR. For example, when I play football with the MCR team, we tend to have games with both the JCR and the SCR. I think that's a very unique thing to Queen's College, because in most colleges, these three different communities are quite separated, whereas in Queen's, their life tend to be intertwined in certain areas of college life.
Actually, how do I find living in Queen's accommodation? I actually really enjoy it. I think I live in a house of 16 people, and it felt like a family, which is really helpful because obviously coming from abroad, I grew up in Thailand, being in a family of 16 make it feel like a safe space. I have a safe space in this comfort zone to come back home to, yeah. And everybody at Queen's is really nice, so I'm really happy to be at the Queen's accommodation.
There are two societies that I'm planning to join. The first one's actually choir, because I'm not the most sporty person that you will find in the room, but I definitely like the atmosphere and the vibe from the choir. We have two other ladies from my house, which are also under Queen's College. They're joining the choir of the postgraduate student, and I just look forward to joining them on Wednesday. The second one is kind of interesting. It's the Just Dance for the graduate student. And I think it's kind of fun that we can do something quite interesting and funny and not so competitive for people who are not very super sporty like me. My first 2 weeks in the university was very fruitful because of MCR. It was like, because when you're new to a country, especially I'm from like another city, coming to UK, settling in, adjusting to the weather, understanding the new education system that's belong very uniquely to Cambridge is not easy. Honestly, it's not easy. But I'm very glad that since the moment I arrived, there's a lot of emails from MCR. There are always some events that can be like cream tea and some scone at the Outstone the other day. And then the wine and cheese was super good at the Old Hall when people can actually socialize in a very leisure way. And the food is good and then the price is very reasonable. And there are just so many events from the MCR that people can always join. The formals and all the informations are being very clearly explained to us. So I think most of the students find it like easy to adapt to after just like 1 week or two.
Yes, I feel very strongly supported, in fact. So first of all, I think being treated, same and as well as differently is very important. Being treated as the same as any students, as I don't feel like you're international. You feel you can just fit into your community because you're a college member and you were respected as the same. For example, we have highlighted events. I remember there was Chinese New Year, and I think the cafeteria prepared Chinese food that makes me felt it's recognized, it's being celebrated, and it just feels fun to be able to contribute as your own division of culture, but as well as feeling just as same as everyone else. And as well as we have, I do remember we have MCR International Officer, and he is very helpful, like organizing events for international people to meet, so you can be able to meet people who have a similar experience as you, but also in general, it's just feel like a big family. So I really appreciate as an international student to be here.